Everybody, so I have decided to introduce something new to this channel, something that I'm calling the featured author. And basically what I will do is every other week or so I will feature an author whose books I have read and have actually liked, and I will tell you the books they've written, the books I have read of theirs, and my favorites, and why I like them and why I sometimes don't like them. Okay, so without further ado, we're just gonna get right into it. The author I have chosen to feature this week is Alex Flinn. These are the two books I have of hers, Beastly and A Kiss in Time. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Alex Flinn is an American author. She writes young adult books. More recently, she has been writing books, modern fairy tales. Her novels have consisted of modern fairy tales. She has 11 books out so far, and she is currently supposed to have one coming out next year. Now I'm just going to give you a quick list of those 11 books that she has written. And so here we go. Nothing to Lose, Breathing Underwater, Breaking Point, Fade to Black, Diva, Beastly, A Kiss in Time, Cloaked, Towering, Mirrored, and Lindy's Diary. 3 books, and definitely on my list is Beastly, and Beastly is the modern retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I love reading Beastly in February, around Valentine's Day. I like reading it in conjunction with Lindy's Diary. I will read a chapter from Beastly and then read a few days from Lindy's Diary and kind of flip-flop between them until I get to the end. Perfect book to get all those feels, all those really good feeling emotions, and it's a perfect fairy tale to read around Valentine's Day, especially when you don't have anyone to spend it with. So the next book featured in this top 3 books is A Kiss in Time, and A Kiss in Time is a modern retelling of Sleeping Beauty. And what I love that Alex Flinn did was that she flipped it. She had, instead of the girl pricking her finger on the spindle at the end of the book, she has her prick it at the beginning of the book, and it tells a story from Princess Talia's point of view and the guy who kisses her 300 years later, Jack. And it kind of mainly tells the story of how he starts to fall for her. And it's a new take on it. It's very refreshing. And I like seeing how a guy falls for a girl. I love hearing a guy's point of view of that. And it's really interesting from that point of view. The last book in that series in my top list, I don't own, I hope to get my hands on that one soon, is actually called Cloaked. And Cloak meshes a lot of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales into one beautiful storyline. She meshes different stories and they combine to make a really great plot, and it's perfect from beginning to end if you want to read something with action, with some fantasy mixed in there, some romance in there. It's perfect, and I really love reading that any time of the year. Anytime I can actually get my hands on it, I read it. Now to a book that I have neither on my top 3 list nor on my bottom 2 list, and that is Bewitching. And Bewitching tells the origins of Kendra the witch. Kendra originally her first appearance is in Beastly, and her next appearance, she doesn't come out until Mirrored. And it basically tells her origin story, what she went through, how she became a witch, and I got through 1/6 of the book, and I just couldn't get myself to finish reading it. So I will withhold my judgment until I have gotten my hands on it and finished reading it. Now onto the list of 2 books that are not my favorite of Alex Flinn, but they're not the worst books ever. And one of them is Towering. And Towering tells the retelling of Rapunzel. And it kind of follows the storyline of the 2010 Tangled movie. Like, it goes in that direction, but a little bit darker. And the only problem I had with this book, and the reason it's not on my top 3 list or my top books of hers list, is because the beginning was really slow for me. I read a couple of chapters one time and I just couldn't get into it, and then a few months later I picked it up again and I actually got to the meat of it, to the actual fairy tale of it, and I enjoyed it very much, but the beginning was slow for me, and that's why it's on my bottom list. The last book that is on my bottom list is her newest one, Mirrored, which is the retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And personally, Snow White is not one of my favorite fairy tales. It's not a great fairy tale. It's not one of my favorite fairy tales, but I still read this book anyway because it was Alex Flinn and I know she does some great things with it. And she did, but about a third of the way there, while I was reading the book, about a third into the book, I figured out the end. I knew what was going to happen, exactly what was going to happen, and I was just like, well, not exactly, but I figured out I kind of put it together in my head. I had some missing pieces, but I had the general idea. And I just didn't like the fact that I kind of put it together. I kind of like some build up in suspense in that middle part, like whether it happens, whether it doesn't happen. I really like that, and Alex Flinn didn't do a really good job, for me at least, in Mirrored. But I really enjoyed her Ferris Bueller references, her references to 16 Candles, and her references to a lot of John Hughes movies, and it's perfect in that sense that it makes references because I make references, so that probably is a reason why I actually kind of like the book, but I don't hate it. As I mentioned throughout this video, one of the main reasons I love Alex Flinn is her retellings of modern fairy tales, and I really enjoyed the way that she kind of meshes them together, and I enjoyed how she combines the modern world with the fairy tale world. She brings magic into the modern world, similar to Once Upon a Time in a sense, but she does it in a couple like 100 pages, and she does it beautifully, and I applaud her for that. One of the few things I have to complain about Alex Flinn is her covers of her books. The covers that I have are the ones that I like, and they're probably the only reason I have them in paperback is because they're simple and they're plain. Beastly, plain, black background, white rose, because the white rose is what gives Kyle/Adrian a second chance. A Kiss in Time, red background, flower. The flower doesn't have any significance in the book, I don't think. No, it doesn't have this particular flower doesn't have a significance in the book, but I just like the simplicity of it. I also like the little quotes that she has on the top of the books that I don't think she has in her other covers, and this one is like, one love can break the curse, and in Beastly it says, ever wonder what it was like for the beast? And I love the little quotes in there. I'm not sure what Cloak has, its quote is, I'm not sure what it is, I'll put it up right here and then you can see it for yourself. However, that Cloak has, that's my favorite, is the one obviously with it's white and it has a red flower, and it's perfect, nothing else needed. And her current covers have a girl standing there, her like in Cloaked it's a girl standing there with a cloak, and she's kind of like giving you that side shoulder look. In Beastly it's a girl with a nice flowing white dress, and she's giving you the side shoulder look too. In A Kiss in Time it's a pretty cover, I actually kind of like it, and it's just a girl sitting on a couch with a big green ball gown and really pretty blonde curls, and that really gives you a sense of the character, but I prefer the flower cover. And in Towering it has a girl with really long blonde hair, a white dress, and I think she's looking at a tower obviously, and it's nice, but I really don't like face or people in my book covers. I prefer something simplistic, and that's probably one of the reasons I don't like, probably one of the only few reasons I don't like Alex Flinn. One tiny detail, but I can get over that easily. The cover's not everything. that being said, that is the last of my featured author. If any booktuber out there totally wants to take this idea and run with it and just like start featuring authors in their videos, go with it, run with it. I had a lot of fun finding out the books that I've never heard about Alex Flinn, the Nothing to Lose, Diva. I've never heard about like those books that Alex Flinn wrote, so that was pretty interesting. It's a lot of fun finding out about authors. So I will basically be doing this about once or twice every month until I run out of authors, but you can never run out of authors. So without being that being said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.